think women lose themselves. I think they slowly stop expressing themselves. And I don't think it happens because we get older. I think it happens because life quietly teaches us to stop choosing ourselves. If you've ever looked in the mirror and wondered, when did I become this version of myself? I want to share something with you. Something I've noticed after more than 40 years working with women in color. Most women don't wake up one morning feeling lost. It's much quieter than that. It happens one small decision at a time. You stop wearing the dress that makes you feel beautiful because it's too much. You stop buying flowers because there are more practical things to spend money on. You stop painting or sewing or gardening or making anything that doesn't have a purpose beyond getting through the day. You become incredibly responsible, incredibly dependable. You take care of everyone else. And without realizing it, you slowly stop expressing the parts of yourself that once made you feel alive. One day, you catch your reflection and think, what happened to me? I hear versions of this from women all the time. I don't know what I like anymore. And here's a good one. I used to be creative. Or I don't even know who I am. Every time I hear those words, I think the same thing. You're not broken. You're disconnected from the parts of yourself that haven't had room to breathe. I've spent more than 40 years designing clothing and working with color. People assume my work has always been about helping women look beautiful. But over the years, I've realized something much deeper. The conversations were never really about clothing. They were really about identity. Women would ask me what color looked best on them. But what they were really asking was, how do I feel like myself again? That is a completely different question. And once I understood that, everything changed. I started paying attention to something most people overlook. Not the colors women loved, but the colors they stopped choosing. Sometimes pink disappeared. Sometimes it was the bright colors that disappeared. And sometimes everything became black, gray, or beige. Can you relate to that one? It wasn't always about fashion. Often it reflected what was happening emotionally. The colors weren't the problem. They were just simply telling part of the story. I created Soul Color because I wanted women to experience color differently. This isn't seasonal color analysis, although some of the things that I do include that. It's not about finding the most flattering palette, although I do help you with that as well. It is about asking a different question. What colors help you feel most like yourself? Because the colors that nourish your spirit may not be the ones someone else tells you to wear. I've seen women reconnect with themselves simply by becoming curious again. Curious about what they're drawn to. Curious about what they've stopped wearing. curious about what beauty they're craving. To me, soul color is really about paying attention. Because when we pay attention, we begin finding ourselves again. I would love to invite you to try something today. Go to your closet, not to organize it and not to judge it. So don't do either of those things. All I want you to do is I just want you to notice what colors are everywhere. And then I want you to notice what colors are missing. Then ask yourself one question. Does what I'm looking at still feel like me? There isn't a right answer, and this isn't a test. It's simply an invitation for you to notice. Sometimes awareness is where change begins. I don't think the woman you miss has disappeared. I think she's been patiently waiting beneath responsibilities, expectations, and busy days. And maybe today is simply the day you just begin listening to her again. If you're curious about discovering the colors that naturally reflect who you are today, I would love to invite you to take my free soul color quiz. I'll leave the link below. And if this video resonated with you, I'd love to hear your answer to one question. Have you ever had a season where you felt like you stopped expressing yourself? Maybe journal that. I want to thank you so much for spending time with me. And until next time, remember, soul color is more than color. It's a philosophy of living through color and creativity. And I have one more suggestion. Subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any more videos. I'll see you next time.